people are the ones who have identified themselves as our common enemy. Today, my brothers and sisters, I want you to know that if we don't unite against the destruction of Mother Earth, we will have a common future that is devoid of clean air, clean water, and basic freedoms. We must reach our hands out to embrace others to the cause of life. We must do our best from wherever we are, with whatever tools available, to enhance and further our quality of life. We must find a way to break down the barriers that divide one people from another. We must find the things we have in common and find ways to solve our differences as basic humanity. We must evolve to a higher level of thinking, a traditional level of thinking, which is obviously superior to what they call progress today. Our traditions taught us to live in harmony with the earth, to respect our bodies, to preserve the environment for our children and future generations. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in this prison. I don't want you to spend the rest of your life in some prison of the mind, heart, or attitude. I want you to enjoy your life. If nothing else, give somebody a hug for me and say, "This is from Leonard." In the spirit of Crazy Horse, Leonard Peltier.
Welcome back, and right now we're going to move into a very heated issue in Carpinteria, talking about the mascot, and we actually have the infamous Eli, so why don't you give us a little background information?
Okay. The Carpinteria mascot issue began after I presented a complaint to the local school board regarding the use of native symbols and images on Carpinteria school campuses. Following my complaint, the school board voted to remove all the images and to retain the warrior name. But after a community backlash that created a rather hostile environment for natives in Carpinteria, there was some wavering back and forth, and ultimately a new school board was appointed that voted to retain most of the images that I had opposed to, and that's pretty much the history of that issue.
Now, how about for everybody else? I mean, what's getting your blood boiling on this issue?
I know that for me, with the Carpinteria mascot issue, the involvement of the American Indian movement came about after death threats came to Eli, and we had to stand up for the protection of our people and protection for his rights. And something as ignorant as a death threat, the American Indian movement then stood up and made a strong presence there for him.
As well as it got to the point where we actually had to bring in the Department of Justice to assure the safety of our protesters in dealing with this issue in Carpinteria, and making sure that all of our efforts were done in a very safe manner, coordinating with the local police department and so forth.
One of the things that made me most upset about this whole issue has been the lies and ignorance that have been spread around, which ironically, when I've been in a one-on-one conversation with most of the people who have heard these lies, when they hear the truth, they change their mind about the mascots. Some of these lies have been things from questioning my family's heritage and our culture to saying that he didn't have any support from the Indian community when he did, to even saying that somehow this was a ploy of our family to get into the San Ynez band, which of course is all completely untrue. But when we've actually discussed, when I've gone one-on-one and discussed this with CARP students, they more often than not actually change their mind on this issue. Because it is just an issue of ignorance and of holding on to traditions that are not healthy in the community.
The part that actually upset me the most was the fact that the community has found it so hard to let go of something as simple as a mascot. Why weren't they able to find different imagery to go along with the name if they were going to use the name? And the fact that they went back on the original plan of getting rid of all the imagery and then having all these ignorant people step up and say, no, we are Carpinteria warriors. Excuse me, playing football and other sports does not make you a warrior.
Very true. I think also it's a little bit different. It's not like this is a private institution. It's actually a community of higher education, and as a school, they basically should make sure that everyone has a safe environment, and that's basically what you were trying to strive for.
Right, and one of the biggest issues that I personally, and I know other natives have with native mascots in non-native schools, is that they represent historical inaccuracies and stereotypes which objectify us, and like he was saying, they're a threat to our dignity as people.
So basically, it's still very much alive, and we're gonna focus on that.